Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I am here. I don't know if you saw in the chat there, I had a little bit of technical difficulty. And of course, I'm like any good engineer, I'm doing this on the fly and pulling it out of my rear end. So we're about a minute late, and I do apologize for that, but we are here. Side note, if you ever use do not disturb and stuff like that, for some reason, I got that on my phone. I turned it on. My kids love to send me requests to download applications while I'm live streaming, and that causes some things. So I was just playing around with the do not disturb settings, so it wouldn't disconnect me from the stream, and somehow that tied my VPN in. And unfortunately, when you've got VPNs running, you can't hotspot. So, well, at least I haven't figured out how you can do it. So we've got that straightened out. So I don't have all the cameras in yet, which is kind of a heck of a position to be in. But hey, you know what? We'll figure it out. We do this on the fly, and that's, actually, and sometimes in thinking about that, that's one of the great things about amateur radio, is that you learn how to fix problems on the fly. Things just don't work the way you expect it. You hear me? I jump in here a lot, and I do kind of knock, and I'm going to air quote, the appliance operator. This is and there's nothing wrong with it if you want to just go out and enjoy the hobby and do those things. But this really was a hobby that started in a basement or in a garage. This was where people learned how to do this new fangled thing called amateur radio, and it all intertwines with the telephone system and all this stuff in the late 1800s that there were no schools, there were no places to do it. As we are getting into this new era of AI and miniaturized technology and stuff like that, it's still amateur radio still has a very valid place in that. And it's the kind of the concept of, we're developing tomorrow's thinkers, right? That's kind of the goal with the ham radio kids table. It's not about your age. It's about a state of mind and getting out there and just doing it. We get a lot of people who are coming into this, and they treat it like a sport, which is cool. And we've we've got turnkey systems that you can do it. And I'm just going to say golf or tennis or any other sport. You can just throw money at it and get the better equipment, and you'll do better. Well, that's okay. But, sometimes you still have to understand the basics, know the basics, get out there and do things. And that's where amateur radio really, really, really shines, because it teaches people, if they want to be taught, how to troubleshoot, how to do these things. And these are life skills that go through a lot of permeate through a lot of your life. If everything was, hey Google, or just asking the question and getting, here's the defined full answer for you, you'll never learn. So this, if you want to learn, gives you the ability to get out there and experiment and do things. And I was thinking about um, kind of that it we went from tomorrow's technology today to yesterday's technology today, um, in how we approach things with amateur radio. Um, you know, To and Ham Nuggets did a whole series on packet radio. Whoopee, that's great. That's great. It's packet radio. It's fun. It's off grid from that thing. But everybody was so fixated on learning packet radio, or hey, can we get today's, yesterday's technology running in this limited form, kind of like Meshtastic, for example. It's the same concept, it's the same thing, but it's using tomorrow's technology to basically still do yesterday's fun, but taking it, and how do we, instead of focusing on AX.25, which is a routing protocol that was adopted for amateur radio use. We stopped using that in the consumer realm probably at the 25 years ago. They don't even stick it in routers anymore because it's that outdated. Now it works for these small things in packet radio, and I'm not knocking that, but how do we shove more data in there, so we're using something like the concept of packet radio or Meshtastic to actually replace the internet, do that over RF. And that's where everybody's kind of like, instead of diving into how do we do tomorrow's technology today, and that's what amateur radio is all about, is that experimentation, to be able to wrap your hands around um, this technology in a way. And I think this is why, and I'm not advocating kids. I know there's a big push to get younger people in the hobby, and we should. We need to make it inviting and want them to come in, but we also have to do it in a way that uh, they're excited about it. And hamsplaining, I think hamsplaining is not the way to do it, and we do a lot of that. So, all right, hey, good morning, everybody. Let me get through here in the chat. Uh, oh, I gotta scroll back way up here. Okay, got Sean in here. Hillbilly Ham is in here. Roy Harding is in here. Vaughn and from POTA Power is in here. I'm sure Julie is shaking her head somewhere on the couch drinking coffee. Good for her. But and speaking of which, my gosh, last weekend, we did another stream on the fly with Julie and Vaughn from POTA Power when we were over in. Okay, got Indonesia in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, So Hillbilly Ham says part of the problem is the bandwidth we have in RF. I don't see that as a problem. I don't, because they've actually swapped it, and it's more about. And I got to get into the specifics. So I was thinking about that this morning. Is it a problem with bandwidth? Is it or is it our inability to compress that data to get it over? And I think they've shifted. Um, with the changes that they made, it's not so much about how many bits per second you're pushing through. It's about how much of the bandwidth that you're using. 3K is not that big of a deal. And depending on your transmission type, how much of those of that can you use? I mean, we use 3K for sideband, but is it 6K for AM? I mean, there's other ways, and we're not pushing ourselves and utilizing some of that AI technology that is out there to figure out how do we compress data in a way that we could send this stuff over RF and truly build this off grid network that everybody wants to do with packet radio and Meshtastic, but actually make it functionable other than just sending, the equivalent of a text message. Um, So Julie says I'm right. So good morning, Julie. And got Roger in here from Spokane, Washington. So we are definitely international this morning. POTA Boy in here from Northeast Ohio. Got a chance to meet POTA Boy and do a. I know, actually, I think you guys showed up. We went out Friday night and did a quick activation. There was a couple people there with Julian Vaughn. The mapping software took us to a part of the park that was like the wildlife refuge, which was like another, I don't know, 15 minutes away from the actual park where everybody was at. So uh, got in there, got set up. We did the POTA activation off the tailgate of the Bronco. A couple people live streamed. I think POTA Boy was there. He was running the camera, or somebody was for Julian Vaughn. Got that in, and then tornadoes were coming through. Um, the storms had already hit earlier where I live here in Indiana, and those same storms were drifting over to towards Dayton, Xenia area. So we wrapped up the activation once we started seeing the lightning. I think we've got five or six of us got the park activated, so that was good. But it was I'd say that whole weekend was tough getting contacts in there. And then also last Sunday morning from POTA from the park, uh, Julian Vaughn, myself, Dane, the portable ham, and Alan, Punk Rock Ham Radio, we went over and met at a park not too far from um, the fairgrounds. And it's a new park in the sense it's more of an open plain, some walking trails and stuff like that. They've got a really beautiful, and I didn't get a chance to go in, but a really beautiful um, cultural center there. And I think there's some ties to an Indian tribe that was local in the area, and that's the basis of that park. But really beautiful cultural center. So we ended up setting up in the park. Um, the bands were just absolutely horrible last weekend. Um, Dane and myself, Portable Ham, we were there and Alan too the day before, and we ended up having to switch over to VHF and finish up our activation on 2 meter with people there at the fairgrounds. So we were able, we got about 20 some contacts each out of the deal, but um, good stuff. So I'm not sure if that was for me or if that was for somebody else in the chat, but I am here in central Indiana, just south of Indianapolis, but just a little north of Bloomington right now at the Morgan Monroe State Forest. And this is my home park. We'll call it home park. Home as in there's 12 or 13,000 acres here, and this is literally in my backyard. I live about, depending on where I'm at in the park, 5 or 10 minutes away, 15 tops, depending on what side of it I go to. And this is fun for Parks on the Air. Because I'm live streaming, I'm over on the eastern side of the park where it's close to the interstate, so I could get 5G wireless or 5G cell. But a lot of times I'm deeper in the park. Kind of my go-to spot is over at the Scout Ridge Nature Preserve, just because I can do a two park activation over there, so double the contacts for this. So enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's add some cameras in here and get on the air. So, oh. Wow. All right, got it lined up. Camera in. maybe. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start on 40 meters today. And real quick, let's swing out to the antenna cam here so you can see it moving. So I'm using the ATOS 120 by Yaesu. And it's a motorized antenna which will move up and down to adjust itself for tuning. This is commonly referred to as a screwdriver antenna. And there's a couple brands out there that work. The reason I'm using specifically the Yaesu one is that I use it in conjunction with Yaesu radios and the ATOS system, so it will automatically move this up and down. Some of the other brands out there, like Scorpion and Tar Heel, they require an external box to move the antenna up and down to adjust it accordingly, and it's not like an automatic system. Here I just hit the tune button, and with a traditional tuner, it would change relays and create different inductance and everything. This one just sees it and moves the antenna up and down until it minimizes the impedance. So, all right, good to go there. And then I need to get in my all right, we are good to go. So let's go ahead and get started here. New operation. So I am running this off this is a Polo Ham 2K. I'm running this off a MacBook, so it doesn't have a GPS in it. So I'm just going to type in my grid square. And we'll go ahead and enter the park number. Again, if I was doing this from my phone, which and tablet that have GPS modules in them, it would have picked that information up, and I could have selected the closest place. Let's go ahead and set ourselves. I use the automatic spotting feature where, based on the band and the mode that you're on, it'll give you information so you can find that. So looks like we've got a couple people currently on 40 meters. And let's go ahead and just find an open frequency. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. So typically I start on 40 meters on Sunday mornings here. Just because it's more localized here to the East Coast. It's already after 9 o'clock, so people are already up and moving. 20 meters is good for the longer reach out and touch somebody. And those are the West Coast for us. So 6 in the morning there. So people are just starting to get up. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Looks like we've got a couple people, somebody over in Great Britain activating right now on 40 meters, and I'm not sure where that's at, but somewhere over in the EU. LU, that might be South America, somewhere one of the countries in South America. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Sorry, somebody fell out there by the waterfront. They're up and moving. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. November 3 X-Ray Lima Sierra. Joe, good morning, 5-9.
The frequency is in use for an ongoing net directly above you. Gentlemen, the frequency is in use for an ongoing net on 7-2. Kindly QSY down a couple clicks or join the 72 chew in progress. You've got WA2AXA.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day today in 73, my friend. Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did he do the right thing or what there? I don't know. We'll see. He was at least polite about it, so I'm not going to be upset about it. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's just switch over to 20 meters. It looks like a lot of people can't hear me on 40. So we'll see what's going there. So fair amount of people on 20 already spotted. Got somebody here in Indiana. So most of these stations I probably would not be able to hear. Florida, we'll see how that goes. So I set a couple pre-positioned shots up on the camera here so I can pivot around and oh, I hit the wrong button there. Gosh darn it. How funny. I went to go hit the button to move it to this camera view and hit the refresh button, so it refreshed the position with the last the last camera shot. So, all right. So over on 20 meters now. Sounds like 327 there. Sounds like I'm on somebody's. Oh, yep. Kilo Papa 4 Romeo Kilo is in the park in Puerto Rico there.
Papa Romeo 0091.
Oh. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Yeah. Where was he when I asked him the frequency was in use? So, okay. Like I said, no big deal. I mean, this is a give and take. Sometimes with this, I mean, there's people all over the country and sometimes all over the world that you may or may not hear when you start out. But I'm not going to take the time to go and study every possible net that's out there to figure out what time and what frequency they're using. It's a shared service. It's a shared frequency space, and it's one of those things. If they're polite about it, he was fairly polite. I'm not going to be upset about that. And you just move on and find a place to go activate. So it looks like there's nothing in the between 307 and 318. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Do I have a call? Yes, I do have a call. I've been giving it. Is there any issues? Over. There are any issues? Over.
What you guys?
I'm sorry, you're being covered up. Your signal is very weak. The person that asked me if I had a call, your signal is very weak in another station that is QRMing you, an unidentified station is QRMing you, so I'm not able to hear you. Over.
You know what? Yeah, simple thing to do is just go find another frequency. I don't know what's going on there. There's severely retarded people who get out there and try to do this. I had a guy last night. And the reality is they're actually so stupid they don't understand how sideband works. But I had a guy last night for 15 minutes trying to do it, and I just kept running the activation. You know, it is what it is. It just sometimes you have to deal with it. So we'll just go find a new frequency. Not a big deal. But then the 260s are open, at least from a POTA standpoint. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Well, the good news is I actually activated the park last night for this UTC day. So, and this is weird. The bands are, we had a horrible time last week trying to make contacts. And actually the first couple of days of this week was the same. Yesterday, last couple of days have been really good. Yesterday I made 108 contacts in right about an hour. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA. CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Alan, you know what? This is how you make lemon out of lemonades. No, lemonade out of lemons, right there. The guy on 14313 is 1500 watts. So he's got full legal lemon amplifier, and of sheer ignorance, he's good to see if the propagation is good or not, because you guarantee he's going to be out there doing stupid things. So, and that's fair. Like I said, there's some mentally challenged people that unfortunately have access to transceivers, and unfortunately, the FCC's enforcement arm is not very strong in that sense. They're on top of dealing with these idiots that do this stuff to emergency communication bands, and that's where their focus is at, really, for enforcement. And I'm fine with that. We can deal with it in the community. Like I said, most of the time, these people are so dumb they don't understand how this works. They think they're interfering, but they're just acting like idiots. And that's okay. We can laugh at them. We can make fun of them at their expense. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Park to Park Station, go ahead. Got the Kilo 1 parts there. What was the rest of the call?
Kilo 1 Mike Charlie Oscar, Park to Park.
Okay, I got the Kilo 1 mic there. Go ahead and try it again for me. The last part, just do it slowly. Yeah, I'm sorry there. I've got the volume way up. You're in my noise floor. Can you try it again in about 5 minutes? All right, 73 November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Whiskey 4 Oscar Golf Whiskey. Good morning, 5-1. Whiskey 4 Oscar Golf Whiskey, 5-1. All right, nothing heard. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ.
November 5 Charlie Oscar Papa, Park to Park.
November 5 Charlie Oscar Papa. Frank, good morning, 5-1.
Good morning, sir. You're about a 55 in West Texas. My park number is US 0546 0546. Good help.
Hey, good morning. I copied park number 0546 in West Texas there. Hey, Frank, are you in the live chat by chance?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. I thought I saw your call sign up on the screen there. Obviously, if you're not watching right this second, I think we're about 39 minutes in if you want to hear yourself over the air.
Sounds like a winner. Hey, man, I enjoyed all your videos, and keep it up.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great morning, a great activation in 73, my friend.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey, good morning, 4-5.
Good morning, Tim. QSL, I guess QSL, barely. Man, like a 4-2 out here in Eastern Virginia, QSL.
George, I copied the 4-2 into Eastern Virginia, my friend. Have a great morning and a great day today in 73.
Yeah, have a great Memorial Day weekend, Tim. Remember the follow, brother.
I will do that, my friend. Have a great day, 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Good morning, Rob. Hey, I took the antenna out yesterday, the spool antenna. Did an activation on last night. 108 contacts in about an hour, both on 20 and 40 meters, and had a great time with it. So good thing. I'm going to go ahead and do a full video on it, and I like it. So folks, if you haven't checked it out, Rob from Spool Antenna is in the chat, and make sure you check out his website. Actually, I'll just get the link for it here real quick. Easy to use, and I like the concept of being able to just wrap that up and take it with you, throw it in your bag, and that. So let's get that here. No. When you get a chance, make sure you check that out. Like I said, I think that's a great antenna, and had good luck with it. So go ahead and check out their website. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Delta 5, Echo Delta Lima.
Kilo Delta 5, Echo Delta Lima, 5-9.
Roger on the 5-9 with you, 5-8 Texas.
Copy the 5-8 into Texas, my friend. Good morning, and have a great day today in 73.
73.
November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Whiskey 0 Kilo Papa Hotel.
Whiskey 0 Kilo Papa Hotel. Cat, good morning, 5-9.
5-7 Colorado. Good morning, Tim.
All right, thanks to 5-7. Have a great day today in 73.
You too. Have fun.
All right, thank you. November. Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Victor Echo 3, Sierra Romeo Whiskey.
Victor Echo 3, Sierra Romeo Whiskey. Good morning, 5-9.
Good morning there, Tim. 5-3 here in Ontario, over.
Copy the 5-3 into Ontario, Don. You have a great day today in 73.
You too there, buddy. Enjoy your activation, and I'll catch you next time, 73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo, Quebec 4, November, Delta, November.
Kilo, Quebec 4, November, Delta, November. Dana, good morning, 5-9.
Good morning. I have you 5-6, West Coast of Florida. Thanks for playing today.
All right, thanks to 5-6 into Florida, my friend. Have a great day today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
Kilo Alpha 3, Mike Alpha Juliet.
Kilo Alpha 3, Mike Alpha Juliet. Good morning, 5-9 in the Lewis.
Roger, copy the 5-9. You're 5-5, 55. You're a Papa Alpha. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Thanks to 5-5 into Pennsylvania, my friend. Have a great day today in 73.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Tango, Delta, Quebec, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Kilo Quebec 4, Tango, Delta, Quebec from Tampa Bay. Good morning, 5-9 plus.
Okay, yep, you hit me with a 5-9 from, where are you located?
I'm here in Indiana, just in between Indianapolis and Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh, okay. Let me get your call sign, and I'll get you in the book. You're also coming in 5-9 here.
Roger. My call sign is November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, NW9F, and I'm at park number 4215, if you're playing along with the bingo, the bingo, playing along with the POTA bingo.
Okay, yeah, no, not real. I'm not doing the bingo. November 19 Foxtrot, right?
November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, NW9F.
Okay, I got you. All right, 73.
All right, 73, my friend. Have a great weekend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Golf 5, Victor Golf Radio.
Kilo Golf 5, Victor Golf Radio. Davey, good morning, 5-9.
I appreciate the 5-9. You're a 5-6 here in Fort Worth, Texas. I make a lot of contacts today, all right?
I will do that, my friend. Thank you very much for the 5-6. Have a great day, a great weekend in 73.
73s.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
Kilo Charlie 1, Whiskey Foxtrot Tango.
Kilo Charlie 1, Whiskey Foxtrot Tango. Alejandro, good morning, 5-9.
Good morning. I've got you a 5-6 in Massachusetts. Thanks for being out there on another band. Have a good one, sir.
All right, 73, my friend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
Kilo 3, Kilo Whiskey Bravo.
Kilo 3, Kilo Whiskey Bravo. Kirk, good morning, 5-9.
5-6 is at Maryland, Mike Delta. Thank you.
All right, thanks to the 5-6 into Maryland, my friend. Have a great day today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot going QRT, QRT, QRT. All righty. So not a stellar morning, but nonetheless, I got at least 12 contacts here in the log. and that'll do it. Although, like I mentioned last night, I had already activated or made, I don't know, 50 or so contacts after 8 p.m. Eastern, which is midnight Zulu, which is the turnover of the UTC day. And that's, if you're not familiar with amateur radio, we log based on the UTC day. So actually, if you look down here in my logging software, all these timestamps are the frequency and the time in Zulu. So with Parks on the Air, they just want you to activate it. You have to make at least 10 contacts from the location and the UTC day. And today we went across two bands. Just so as far west as Pueblo, Colorado, down in Killeen, Texas, Tampa Bay area. And these are mostly on 20, which has a little bit further range than 40 at this time of day. 40 is more localized. And that's why I generally start on there first thing in the morning, because of the people west of the Mississippi typically aren't up this early, only because it's earlier for them. Up here into Ontario, Canada, Massachusetts. So not a bad footprint. Nothing to complain about. So 12 contacts in 25 minutes, and some of that was spent jibber jabbering. So it's not that bad of a deal. So 12 QSOs, one park to park, got two DXCC entities. So 11 contacts here in the continental United States, and one contact up in Canada, and made contacts in 7 of the 50 states, and then the one Canadian province. Which Sebastian, if you're listening, what an interesting thing would be to not only do we have the breakout of the states, I think our friends up in Canada would probably like it too if you had to break out of the Canadian provinces. Also, just to do that, I don't know. Maybe it does it automatically if it's if you put your have a Canadian call in versus a U.S. call. I don't know if that's the case or not. I have to check with my friend Vince VE6LK. He's got two call signs. He's got a U.S. and a Canadian call sign, so he bounces back and forth between both countries. So actually, probably should put myself as QRT in there. So not bad. Dave is asking what logging software am I using? I am using Polo Portable Logger by Ham2K. Now, what's a little unique about this is that I'm running this on a MacBook Pro that will emulate iPad. I have the a newer one that's got the Apple silicon processor in it, and it emulates iPad apps, which is allowing me to do it on here, so I can live stream it. But generally, I run this on either an Android tablet or a iPad, depending on just how I'm feeling for the day. The reason I use the Android is because there are a few more amateur radio applications that are available for the Android that are not available on the iPad. So one is FT8CN. I've got some videos on that, and it allows you to do the FT8 portably. So I do it with my 705, the True SDX. I do have one of the new Z-Bit X's, which I promptly blew up by putting the batteries in backwards. But long story behind that. But I'll be doing that. Yeah. That's the question. Is it silicone or silicon? I don't know. It depends on the. I've heard it spelled both ways. That's my answer. I've heard it spelled both ways. Um, but yeah, I like to use that. One of the great things in uh, something I've had Sebastian on the Ham Radio Kids table every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight, midnight Zulu. Is that you know that this our some of our radio apps have been the things that we do, and I kind of touched on it earlier in the stream, is that we're just stunted. It's like the last people that developed anything with amateur radio, um, it all kind of stopped at the turn of the century, and nothing is really. It's just been patched, but nothing has really been redeveloped. And I call it the portable logging wars of 2025. But it's great. Jarrett has re-energized hammers with a new version that is allowing you to and it's a paid service, but it's not that expensive, is to be able to sync your logs between multiple devices, which is nice, and adding some more functionality when you have it on a network connection. uh, Sebastian is with Ham 2K is bringing things in and doing fun stuff to do this, and it doesn't look like dog crap. I mean, that's the great thing. And both of these programs are very um, very good, and I enjoy it. And then also World Radio League has a portable version. They're an online logging software. They've kind of gone a little bit further, and they've gamified activities like contesting and parks on the air, which is cool. It's one of those ways that you got to, if we want to get younger people into the hobby, and I'm not saying kids, but I'm saying younger people. Going back to the Ham Radio Kids table, it's not your age, it's your state of mind. You got to start. You got to meet them. You can't just sit there and hang on to this crap that people have been doing for 100 years and expect people to want to gravitate to that. You've got to grow and meet them, and so these guys, uh, groups, I'll say Ham 2K, Hammers, and World Radio League, are bringing in the next generation of logging software that is awesome. And the good thing is everybody's approachable, everybody's fun, everybody wants to help out. They uh, are using each other as sounding boards and as the drive to um, put out a better product. So try them all. I recommend all of them. Um, Donate to them. The development stuff isn't free. If you are a coder and you want to get in and do something fun, reach out to them and to help out. And then I know specifically with Sebastian, he's Fork It, and they're all public, open. Well, I can't say that about. I know Ham 2K Polo is completely open source. It's available, and he encourages you to fork it. So and do your own thing, and that's great, right? That's the kind of the encouragement, the things, the spirit of amateur radio just carried over into the next thing. Well, guys, I see it is 10 o'clock. It is time for Ham Church. uh To and Big Jim, I think, are streaming this morning here, so I'm going to go ahead and stop jibber jabbering. That's my word of the week, jibber jabber. And I'm going to put a link to their live stream on there. Go check it out. Have fun in amateur radio. Enjoy the weekend. It is a Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, where we uh, celebrate and remember the loss of people who have uh, made the ultimate sacrifice in serving our country and gave their lives to ensure that we have the fun and the freedom that we have here in America. And I know sometimes it's a politically turmoil time, but these guys and gals, my brothers and sisters from the military, we don't see politics when it comes to this. We see the Constitution and the American way of life, and not only us here in America, but our allies, our partners around the world. Their veterans have given life and limb to do that. So keep those people in your prayers, and have a great weekend, and enjoy Monday if you've got the time off from work. And we will talk to everybody later. 73.